You can save up to $700 on your rent this year using the secret method. And not just that, you will also be able to save hundreds of dollars every single year going forward if you just use this simple trick. Alright guys, my name is Shervin, welcome to my channel, and what I'm about to share with you today is going to blow your minds. If you're someone who rents and you feel that the amount of money that you pay for housing every single month is just crazy expensive, and you wish you lived in a world where you could get at least some of that money back so you can spend it on other things that you care about, then you're in luck because I'm going to share with you exactly how you can do that. Now, most others are never going to tell you about this, but if you watch to the end of this video, you're going to find out exactly how this secret method works, how it can earn you free money, and how you can start saving on your rent starting from today. And all that I ask is that if you get value from this video, make sure to share it with someone else you know who is also renting so that they can also start taking advantage of this method. And I promise you, they will always remember you as the person who helped them save a ton of money on their rent. Now, as I mentioned in an earlier video, there is a service known as Checksy. And the way this system works is that it basically allows you to pay your rent with a credit card. But why is that significant? How does that help us save money? Well, remember, a lot of credit cards offer this thing known as cashback as a reward for using them for your purchases. So for example, if you have a credit card that has a 2% cashback on groceries, that means that every time you use it to buy groceries, you get 2% of that value back as a reward. So if you go to a grocery store and use that card to buy $100 worth of groceries, you get $2 back as a reward. Now, where this gets significant for us is with credit cards that have a high cashback rates on recurring payments. This is because your rent payments through Checksy count as recurring payments, and if you can find a credit card that offers a high cashback rate on this category, then you can get that cashback rate on all your rent payments. Now, you gotta keep in mind that a service like Checksy charges you 1.75% as a fee on your payments. So what that means is that you need to find a card that gives you at least 2% cashback or more in order to be profitable in this transaction. And of course, there's one credit card which is the best for this exact situation, and that is the Scotia Momentum Visa Infinite card. This card offers you 4% cashback on all recurring payments, and it only costs $120 a year to own. But for the first year that you own the card, you actually don't have to pay that annual fee. So for the first year, it's going to be free to own. Also, there's another sign-up bonus with this card, and that is that for the first 3 months of owning the card and up to the first $2,000 spent, you get 10% cashback on all your purchases. So that means that for the first year of owning the card, you don't have to pay any fees to own it. You get 10% cashback for the first $2,000 spent, and then after that, you get 4% cashback for every dollar that you spend on recurring payments, up to $25,000 spent. Now, that is a limit that we have to be careful of, and I'm going to get into it a little bit more. But basically, that 4% cashback rate on recurring purchases isn't infinite. It's up to the first $25,000 spent per year. Now, what that means is that you don't want to use this card for any other purchases because you want to keep all of that $25,000 margin open for our rent usage. Unless, of course, your entire rent payment for the whole year is less than $25,000, in which case then you can use the card for other things as well. Now, if your rent payment is $2,200 a month or lower, then you should be using this card to pay for your rent for the whole year. Because that means that your rent payment is either lower than $25,000 a year, or even if it is more, you only end up hitting the limit in the last month of the year. So in that case, you're good to just set up the card on Checksy to pay for your rent payments and then just leave it be, leave it to pay for your rent forever. And this way, not only do you profit a ton of cash back on your card, you also don't have to worry about paying your rent every single month, and you can just automate the entire process. And of course, as long as you pay off your credit card on time and in full, you don't have to worry about anything else in regards to your rent payments. It's all taken care of. But on the other hand, if your rent is higher than $2,200 a month, then in that case, you want to calculate exactly how many months you should be paying with Checksy and with this card, and how many months you should be paying in cash. Because if, for example, your rent payment is $5,000 a month, then after just 5 months of paying your rent with Checksy, you end up hitting that $25,000 limit. And then at that point, you've already got all the cash back that you can get from this process. And from that point onwards, it's just going to be a losing battle. Because after you fill up that $25,000 limit, you only get 1% cash back on all purchases, whereas you're still paying the 1.75% fee to Checksy. So let's go over how you can calculate exactly how many months you should be paying with this card in Checksy, and then how many months you should be paying with cash. Now, what you want to do is you want to take $25,000 and you want to divide it by the amount that you pay for rent every single month, and then whatever number you end up with, you want to round it to the closest whole number. So for example, if you pay $6,000 a month on rent, you want to take $25,000 divided by 6,000 and you end up with 4.25. And then you take 4.25 and you round it to the closest whole number, which would be just 4. Now what that means is that the best strategy is to pay for your rent for 4 months using CheckC and the Scotiabank card. And then for the other 8 months of the year, you want to pay for it in cash. Now I know some of you are thinking, oh, that's going to be too hard to remember. I'm going to forget which month I'm supposed to pay with cash and which month I'm supposed to pay with the card. But don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly when to pay with CheckC and then when to pay with cash. All you need to do is just do the calculation that I just described for you. Take 25,000 divided by the amount that you pay for your rent every month, and then whatever number you end up with, round it to the closest whole number. Now that is going to be the number of months that you pay your rent with CheckC, and all you need to do is just go on your phone, open your calendar app, and if the number that you came up with is, let's say, 4 months, then you just want to go 4 months ahead of today and just put a reminder on that day that says switch rent payment. Again, it's super easy to do. Everyone has a phone that uses every single day. Every phone has a calendar app, and you can literally go on any day, create an event, and then set alerts for any time during that day. And of course, by doing so, you don't even have to think about when do I have to change my rent payment method? Am I paying with credit card? Am I paying with cash? You don't even have to think about it because your phone is going to let you know on the day that you need to make the switch happen. Now you may ask, but what about when I want to go back to paying with card? What you can do for that is just create an event for today. And again, another feature that almost every calendar app on almost every phone has is to make events occur every year on the same day. So super simple, you want to put an event for today that says go to CheckC and then have that event occur every single year on the same day by just setting it as repeat every year. And then if you calculated that, let's say I need to pay with CheckC for 4 months and you just want to go 4 months in advance from today, set up an event on that day and have that occur every single year as well. And just by doing so, you don't even have to worry about, oh, how many months did I pay with this? How many months did I pay with that? You don't even have to think about any of that. Your phone is going to let you know when you need to make the switch, whether you go to CheckC or whether you have to go back to paying cash. Now, again, I'm sure for a lot of you who pay less than $2,200 a month for rent, you don't even have to worry about any of this because you're just going to leave your card and CheckC to pay for your rent every month of the year. But for those of you who have a little bit of a nicer place or a little bit of a bigger place, then just do that simple thing with your phone and you don't have to even worry about if you got it right or not. But now, how much can you expect to get back each year realistically? Let's go through a quick example together. Let's say your rent payment is $2,000 a month. Now remember, for the first year, you don't have to pay any fee, so you don't have to pay that $120 fee. And also remember, for the first $2,000 spent on the card, as long as it's in the first 3 months, you're going to get 10% cash back, not 4%. So that means that for the first $2,000 payment, you get 10% cash back, which is $200. And then for the next 11 months where you pay $22,000, you're going to get 4% cash back on that. So that's $880. Now, of course, CheckC charges a 1.75% fee. So we need to find out exactly how much that is going to cost us because that is eating into our profit. And of course, we paid $24,000 in rent this year, and 1.75% of that is going to be $420. So this means that if you pay $2,000 a month on your rent and you just set up the simple system where you get the card, you set it up on CheckC and you let it pay your rent for you, you end up profiting $660 in the first year. And again, remember, that's the profit. That's not the amount of cash back that you got back. As we calculated, you ended up getting $1,080 in cash back. But of course, we reduced that by the $420 that you have to pay for your CheckC fees, and you still ended up with a $660 profit. So that's basically $660 that you got for free for just setting up the system and paying through your credit card with CheckC. Now you might ask, but that's the first year with all the sign-up bonuses and everything. What about every year after that? Again, let's take a look with the same example of $2,000 a month paid on rent. Again, that's $24,000 of rent payments for the whole year, and 4% of that is going to be $960. Of course, the CheckC fee is going to be, again, $420 for that 1.75% on the $24,000. And of course, from the second year onwards, we also have to pay the card's annual fee, which is $120. So $960 minus $420 minus another $120 is going to be $420 $420 left over. So again, in the second year, you're also profiting $420. And again, that's the profit, not the cashback. The total cashback you got back in the second year was $960, but after taking away the entire fees that you pay on the card and on Chexi as well, you still ended up profiting $420, again, for not doing anything, for just paying your rent the same way that you were paying before. It's just that now it's through this system instead of just paying cash directly. Now, I know some of you may be looking at that and saying, oh, it's just a couple of $100 a year. It's not that big a deal, is it? But again, remember, you're getting this money essentially for free. You're not doing anything crazy. You're just spending a couple of minutes to get the card. And then once you get the Scotiabank Momentum Visa Infinite card, you just spend a couple of minutes to set it up on Chexi. And then that's that. As easy as that, you end up getting hundreds of dollars for free every single year. Now, of course, that's assuming that you always pay off the card on time and in full, and you really should. Because again, really, you're only using the card to pay your rent. And if you always pay your rent on time, then you can just always pay that off on time as well. So instead of paying the landlord every month, you're just paying off your credit card every month. But again, as long as you do that, you can get all of this cash back and all of this profit for completely free. And of course, not only are you making money for doing this, you also get to own this premium card for free. In fact, they're paying you to own this card. Now, the Scotiabank Momentum Visa Infinite card is not the most prestigious card out there, but it still has a lot of premium features such as all kinds of travel coverages, whether it's stuff like out-of-province emergency medical insurance, lost baggage, delayed flight, etc. You also get access to the Visa Infinite Concierge service, which can help you get a lot of events or concert tickets at an earlier date for a better price. You also get other perks such as a discount on your car rentals through Avis and also stuff like mobile device insurance as well. And again, remember, you're getting all of this for completely free. Yes, the card is paid and it requires money to pay the annual fee, but we already put that into our calculations earlier. So instead of paying $120 to own the card and get all these features like everyone else, because you're using the card to pay for your rent, you're actually getting paid to own the card and get all these features. So again, if you are someone who rents, you definitely have to get this card and you definitely have to get it on Chexi to pay your rent through that. And then just get all of this profit every single year without even doing anything. And yes, it's only a couple $100 a year. And I know I'm saying only a couple $100 every year, but think of all the things you could do with that extra money. You could buy a new phone, you could get an iPad, you could get all sorts of things. That's enough money for a plane ticket for a nice vacation. There are so many things you could do with a couple $100 extra. And the fact that it's so easy to do it and you don't have to do anything crazy to get all of that free money, it's just a no-brainer for every single person who rents. Now, as always, if you're interested in getting the card, I will also include my referral link down in the description below, where if you use that link to check out the card, you would also be supporting the channel in the meantime, which I always appreciate. But honestly, whether you use my link or not, this is just such an amazing deal that you definitely have to check it out, so I cannot recommend it highly enough. But as we discussed, for most people, you don't want to be using this card for anything else other than your rent payments. So it really is just a secondary credit card for this purpose only, and it's not going to be your main credit card for everyday usage. Now, of course, I just recently made an entire video about the Rogers MasterCard, which is one of the best new credit cards in Canada. And if you're looking for a primary credit card as well, I definitely recommend checking that video out as well. Also, if you haven't done so already, make sure to smash the subscribe button down below and join the community. Also, if you enjoyed the video and got value from it, make sure to like it as well. And again, if you know anyone else that could use this information, definitely share this video with them so we can help them out as well. And now with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.